fluttering, floating in the breeze, a single butterfly. That's a haiku, a type of Japanese poem by Masaoka Shiki, who lived from 1867 to 1902. Hi, I'm Charles. I'm a psychiatrist who has a special interest in diets which are good for your heart and also diets which are good for the planet.
And hello again, guys. I am Sinead. I am a student of public health, and I'm also very interested in diets that can help the planet, help combat climate change, and also help your heart. So last week we talked a bit about Jainism, we talked a bit about Buddhism, we talked a bit about Pythagoras as well, and the history of vegetarianism. So we're going to continue on with that today. So yeah, Charles, what's next?
Yeah. So next we're going to talk about another historical figure from ancient India who was very involved in vegetarianism and the protection of animals, who was King Ashoka.
Okay.
And he lived later than the other people we were speaking about, like Buddha and the originators of Hinduism and Jainism. King Ashoka lived in the 3rd century BC. He lived, as I said, in ancient India, but he was in the early part of his life, a very aggressive king, and he conquered a lot of India.
Okay.
He was born at the beginning of the 3rd century BC,
Yes.
and by the time he'd finished his conquest, he ruled almost the entire subcontinent of India.
Wow.
Between approximately 268 and 232 BC. But as a king, during one of his final campaigns of conquest, he was profoundly affected after seeing the slaughter and suffering caused by his invasion and victory over the Kalinga people, who lived in a region of eastern India at that time. And he was a great man for doing edicts, which were carved on rocks around the country and placed in many places. So in one of his edicts, it was stated that 100,000 men and animals died in the fighting, and another 150,000 perished subsequently.
Forgive me.
Yeah.
What is an edict?
Oh, it's like a pronouncement, yes, or a direction to be given to people.
Okay.
I know
yeah.
this is more kind of factual, but other ones were advising people what to do or telling people what to do.
Yeah.
They were like directions or pronouncements. So, and they found around India these rocks with his edicts or pronouncements carved on them. He'd given instruction, these would be carved out around the country. So also, as well as all those killed and injured, that 150,000 men and animals were carried away in captivity after the war. And the king, uniquely and for ancient rulers, expressed great regret and pain in his edict about the deplorable slaughter, death and deportation caused by this war. And this realization caused him to devote the rest of his life to the practice and propagation of the Buddhist teachings or Dharma. And so the action of expressing profound remorse is, as I said, it was very unique amongst ancient rulers. And the war was thought to have been a major factor in the king's conversion to Buddhism.
Okay.
So after that, he had a radical change in personality, which is a very rare thing.
Yeah.
And the king became a very benevolent monarch who exhorted his people to do good deeds and refrain from bad actions. And his edicts, as we said, inscribed on rocks and pillars around the country, tried to persuade people to act rightly.
Okay.
And following his conversion, he believed that persuasion was more effective than coercion. And his edicts included admonitions against cruelty to animals.
Okay.
He established hospitals for humans and animals throughout his kingdom.
Wow.
He lined the roads with trees to provide shade, and he established lodging houses for travellers. He had many wells dug, so he was trying to do good deeds.
A real redemption arc.
Yes, which in fact very rarely happens in life, but I suppose it can happen. So, such a radical change in someone's personality. So he generously supported the Buddhist monks and built many stupas and monasteries. And by supporting Buddhism, he further promoted vegetarianism in India. He ordered that the large number of animals killed for the royal kitchens should be limited to a small number, and later he ordered that there should be none killed at all.
Oh, wow.
And he sent embassies westwards to the culturally Greek Hellenistic rulers with the intention of teaching them about Buddhism.
Okay.
These included Ptolemy, Antiochus, Antigonus, and Alexander, not Alexander the Great, but one of his successors. Overall, he's remembered for his energetic devotion to benevolent actions following his conversion. So we're going to move on from there to how vegetarianism spread from India.
Okay.
And so one of the first places it spread to was China.
Okay.
And vegetarian cuisine became more popular after Buddhism had spread to that country. Similarly, Japan's eating habits were influenced by Buddhism. But in Europe, however, we mentioned Pythagoras and the classical world, but following the conversion of Christianity, following the reign of the Emperor Constantine, who
That's
was
Roman, is it?
Yes, yeah.
When the Romans became Christians.
Yeah. He lived, Constantine lived between 272 and 337 AD. And then the vast territory that made up the Roman Empire, vegetarianism became rare.
Okay.
Because it wasn't emphasized in Christianity. But before paganism was totally eclipsed in the West, the classical writer Porphyry, who lived in Roman-ruled Tyre in the 3rd century AD, wrote his book on abstinence from animal food and expressed the belief that if humans deserve justice, so do animals. St. Paul seems to be a significant influence in steering Christianity away from vegetarianism, but there are exceptions. A number of saints who were vegetarian, and certain monastic traditions for ascetic reasons were vegetarian, although usually they allowed fish.
Okay.
But at present, there are, however, many Christians around the world who are vegetarian by choice. Just talking about some other religions, in Islam, the Prophet Muhammad is said to have been against the frequent consumption of meat, and it's thought that his diet consisted in large part of dates and barley. Also, some notable Islamic leaders have been vegetarian, and an increasing number of Muslims have made a personal choice to be vegetarianism. In Judaism, some Jewish groups favor vegetarianism, and Israel actually has a large number of vegans because of this. There are many famous vegetarians through history, too numerous to mention, but they've had a profound effects on the history and culture of the world. In antiquity, besides the people we've mentioned, there was Confucius, the Chinese sage, who was vegetarian, Plutarch, the Roman historian, Zoroaster, the Iranian prophet, also from Roman times, Virgil and Ovid, the Roman poets. During the Renaissance, Leonardo da Vinci was a famous example.
Is he vegetarian?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
During the 18th and 19th century Enlightenment, there was Voltaire and the French writer and philosopher, the poets Percy Bysshe Shelley and Alexander Pope, also Leo Tolstoy, the Russian writer. During the 20th century, the list of vegetarians is extensive and includes Mahatma Gandhi, the writers George Bernard Shaw and Aldous Huxley, Nikola Tesla, the inventor. Adolf Hitler belies the notion that vegetarians are all benevolent pacifists because, surprisingly, he was vegetarian.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Numerous celebrities are or were vegetarian, including the Beatle Paul McCartney and his wife Linda McCartney.
They do. She does great sausages.
Yes.
Linda McCartney's sausages are
a whole
fantastic.
Range of foods. Unfortunately,
she was
she's
great.
Passed away, but she was. The company still continues.
Yeah.
The tennis champion Martina Navratilova. We have mentioned.
There's another tennis. There's a good few. Djokovic.
Yes.
Yeah, we were talking about Djokovic another day, and really successful tennis players.
Yeah.
Vegan even, not even vegetarian, vegan,
Some other sports people.
Yeah.
And Christine Lagarde, the managing director of the International Monetary Fund, and an explosion of other modern-day celebrities and stars and influential people who are too numerous to mention, are all vegetarian.
That was a very interesting overview of the history of vegetarianism. So now we're going to talk about vegetarian and vegan societies.
Yeah.
So how did they come about? Like where was this?
Well, In 1847, the UK seems to have been prominent in it because in 1847, the Vegetarian Society was founded in the United Kingdom.
And was that the first one?
Yeah, the first of many in different countries. The International Vegetarian Union was founded in 1908, and veganism that we've spoken about is a form of vegetarianism in which all animal products are abstained from, so that there's no dairy, there's no eggs. And the term vegan was first coined by Donald Watson, the co-founder of the Vegan Society, in 1944. The Society stated in 1951 a guiding principle, quote, the doctrine that man should live without exploiting animals, unquote. So vegans, as well as not consuming dairy products or eggs, also many will not use animal products in their daily lives, for example, leather or in cosmetics. By the way, Paul and Linda McCartney's daughter, Stella McCartney, is a fashion designer who uses no animal products, no leather in her designs. In a similar spirit, the Nazi Holocaust survivor Alex Hershaft was co-founder, this is different from veganism, of the farm animal rights movement, and stated that he was always, quote, was always bothered by the idea of hitting a beautiful, living, innocent animal over the head, cutting him up into pieces, and then shoving the pieces into one's mouth. And because of his Holocaust experience, he could empathize with animals because he knows firsthand what it's like to be treated like a worthless object. And also with increasing concerns about the ethics of meat production and meat eating and sustainability of the present levels of meat consumption, the health effects, and the very significant contribution it makes to climate change, vegetarianism has greatly increased in popularity in the second half of the 20th century and the first part of this century.
So just before we get into that, just about some facts about climate change and animal agriculture, which I'm very excited to hear about and talk to you about. Let's take a little break. So yeah, we'll be back after the break.
If you'd like to know more about what we've been talking about, there's a lot more information in my book called Save Your Heart, Lose Weight, and Help Save the Planet, and it's available on Amazon.
So just before we go into the kind of facts and figures around climate change and animal agriculture, I just want to share a little anecdote from my own personal life.
Great.
So I was watching a show on RTE, and it was a competition to see which families could reduce their carbon kind of footprint the most over the course of a couple of weeks. And there were some mad things like people taking 10-second showers to to reduce their water consumption, stuff like that. But I remember seeing there was an expert on diets there, and he said the single greatest thing that you can do for the environment is to give up meat and to go vegan. Wow. So I went vegan then. Wow. After that. Yeah, it was just that simple for me. Yeah.
So the way he was saying that the way you can most reduce your carbon dioxide emissions or your carbon footprint, the single biggest thing you can do is go vegetarian or vegan. Yeah. That's very interesting, yeah. Because people don't realize that. They think, I'll use the car less, use public transport, or do other things. Yeah. But in fact, it's a very big contributor.
100%. And we can go into now how that impacts.
Yeah. So just to explore that, the climate change and its relationship to animal agriculture. But first of all, let's talk about what climate change is. Climate change or global warming refers to the unprecedented rise in global temperature that has occurred over the last 5 decades mainly during my lifetime. And although significant changes in the Earth's temperature have occurred over thousands of years, including the ice ages, the continuous alarming increases in temperature in recent decades are caused by human activities, unlike those big changes in the past.
Yeah.
And the main causes of increased temperatures of climate change, global warming, are emissions caused by fossil fuel burning, animal agriculture and deforestation. So the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, in their 2019 special report, have stressed the need for a reduction in meat consumption, particularly. And it's actually, of those, the number one cause of global warming is fossil fuel burning, but the number two cause is animal agriculture.
Yeah.
So just to talk about some of the components of that, and I'd like to talk a little bit about the destruction of the Amazon rainforest in South America. Our excessive consumption of meat and increasing demand for it. And by the way, I know we've been talking a lot about vegetarianism, but I want to stress that we're not saying that everyone needs to go vegetarian.
I think reduction is just as impactful. Well, obviously it's not completely as impactful, but reduction is very impactful. Like I remember seeing something at one stage, I can't remember the exact figures, but if everybody in Ireland ate one vegetarian or vegan meal a week, that it would reduce our impact on the planet
to a
significant degree. So it's not about all or nothing, really. We're not saying that everybody has to be vegan all of a sudden. No. Although that would be fantastic.
Well, but, I mean, I ate meat most of my life. I know it's hard to give up, and although I don't miss it at all now. I did find that once you give it up, after a few weeks, you actually don't miss it.
You don't miss it, no, yeah.
But there are things you can do, like in parts of Belgium, they have meat-free Mondays, which is a good idea. So we're just saying, like, one day a week, try going vegetarian.
Yeah.
Or in our flexitarian diet, what we're recommending is to have meat just once a day and have at least one day vegetarian. Yeah. So that's quite a doable thing. That it can feel a bit frightening for people to say, I'm not going to eat meat again. But if you have a vegetarian breakfast and a vegetarian lunch, you can look forward to having a meat meal in the evening.
Yes, exactly, yeah. Or even taking one day a week.
Yeah.
Vegetarian. There's so many ways of doing it.
Yeah.
It's just reduction.
Yes.
And for people who are afraid that it'll impact them negatively, it actually will impact you positively if you reduce.
Yeah. It can only be good for your health
to do it. Yeah.
And, as we've said before, research has shown that the more meat you eat, especially red meat, the more your chances of having a heart attack or a heart problem.
Yes.
And also the more your chance of developing cancer. So so cutting down on meat is a good thing to do for your health.
As well as
without having to give it up altogether.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
So, but unfortunately, there's been a general tendency to eat increasing amounts of meat, and compared to when I was a child, people are eating twice as much meat per person on average. So that's having an effect. We don't have to eat that much meat. So our excessive consumption of meat and the increasing demand for it are further increasing deforestation.
Which is just the cutting down of trees, and a huge place that's happening that many people have probably heard of is in the Amazon rainforest. Yeah.
So the major reason for the acceleration of the destruction of the Amazon rainforest is to provide increased grazing land for the beef industry, for cattle. The Amazon rainforest has been described as the lungs of the planet. The reason is there's so many trees in a concentrated area, big tall trees, and each leaf of all of those trees is taking in carbon dioxide and giving off oxygen in the process.
So we call that a carbon sink.
Yes.
Yeah. Something that takes in more carbon than it lets out.
Yes.
Would be a carbon sink.
And plus it gives off oxygen at the same time.
Gives off oxygen,
by the process of
it cleans the air.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every green leaf you see, every green plant is taking in oxygen, especially the trees, more than
taking in carbon dioxide.
They're taking in carbon dioxide, and giving off oxygen. So that's why it's called the lungs of the planet. But unfortunately, the Amazon rainforest is being destroyed at the rate of about the size of 60 football pitches per hour.
It's very sad, isn't it?
Yeah. And 136 million acres of rainforest have already been destroyed mainly for animal agriculture. So elsewhere in the world also, forests are destroyed to provide pasture for meat production, for grazing of animals. And this is one reason why vegetarianism or reduced meat consumption can reduce climate change and is good for the planet. And about 70% of the Amazon rainforest that's cut down, I think I might have said this already, goes for beef grazing, for animal grazing. So a drastic reduction in meat consumption is being advocated as part of the 2017 World Scientists Warning to Humanity, which was signed by over 15,000 world scientists. So part of the efforts to reduce climate change is setting a limit on the global temperature rise.
Yeah.
So since the 1950s, as we've said, global temperatures have been increasing steadily at unprecedented levels. They're currently increasing by about 0.2 degrees centigrade each decade. The Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, the IPCC, and the Paris Climate Accord aim to keep global temperatures from rising above 1.5 degrees centigrade compared to pre-industrial levels. Pre-industrial levels are calculated those that occurred between 1850 and 1900. This was the time when records started being kept accurately. Above the level of a 1.5 degrees centigrade rise, global warming can start to cause catastrophic and potentially irreversible effects on the planet, far above even the appalling effects we're already seeing. In the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, countries cooperate and try and reduce global warming.
And I don't want to alarm anyone, but I did a quick Google there of what we're at.
Yeah.
And it says that Earth's average temperature has risen roughly by 1.44 degrees Celsius since the late 1800s. So we're behind.
Some people do say we've already hit the 1.5 degrees
1.5,
centigrade.
which is terrifying.
Right. But on the other hand, there are many people who deny climate change, called climate change deniers.
Yeah.
And these people are critics of the concept of global warming, climate change. These climate change deniers argue that the world's climate and temperature are due to natural variations that have occurred over millennia and are not due to human activity.
But what I would say to these people is that, especially like the concept of burning fossil fuels, like if you look at it, we're taking these like ancient
sinks of energy
out of the ground, burning them. They're obviously going to go into the atmosphere. And if you look at the greenhouse gas effects, it doesn't make sense that you could do that without it impacting.
Yeah. Without it affecting it.
Without it affecting
the
it.
environment,
I understand that there is an argument that these temperature changes happen over time.
Yes.
But this is unequivocally man-made.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that would seem logical, but a very well-known person, the current president of the United States, Donald J. Trump, is a climate change denier.
Yeah.
He's in his first and this present presidency, he's tweeted, particularly in his first term of office, he tweeted many times that the cold temperatures that they were having at the time disproved climate change. He withdrew the United States in his first term from the Paris Climate Accord, and he's done the same in his present term of office. However, the weight of scientific evidence proving global warming to have been caused by human influence is overwhelming.
Yes.
The Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change have demonstrated that climate change has been caused by human activity. All reputable scientific bodies agree with this conclusion.
Absolutely.
And the scale of changes in world temperatures and carbon dioxide levels has far exceeded anything that's happened in previous millennia due to natural variation, including the ice ages and temporary periods of Earth's warming in the past. In fact, carbon dioxide levels in the atmosphere are currently higher than they have been for 3 million years, according to the geological evidence. Also, carbon dioxide that is currently in the atmosphere will remain there for decades, which is alarming.
Yes.
So even if we manage to start significantly reducing emissions now, we'll have to cope with the past effects of previous emissions for up to 100 years.
Yeah.
So this makes it all the more important to take significant action on climate at this time. Talking more about greenhouse gases, the increase in greenhouse gases, mainly carbon dioxide and methane, produced by burning fossil fuels and animal agriculture, are causing the Earth's temperature to increase steadily. Much of the energy from this, the heat energy, is absorbed by the sea, and sea temperatures are also rising steadily. I have a friend from Brazil who said that the average water temperature where she lives is around 28 degrees centigrade.
And that has devastating effects on life in the sea. For example, coral reefs. Which are very important for the wildlife in the sea. We actually hit point of no return with coral reefs recently.
Really, yes.
That they're being damaged because of human activity.
Enormous amounts of marine wildlife rely on the coral reefs. And when the coral reefs go, the fish and other animals die too. So but as well as sea temperatures rising, the land temperatures obviously are rising most, causing heat waves and forest fires on scales that have never been seen before. And the temperature of the Arctic is increasing most of all at twice the rate of the rest of the world. And the reason for this is that it's normally covered by snow and permafrost, and in the most northern regions of the Earth, and the snow and permafrost reflect the sun and help reduce temperatures. But as the snow melts due to global warming, the dark Earth below is exposed, and this dark Earth absorbs more heat and increases the temperature, which compounds the problem.
Also, something that's a little bit scary about permafrost melting is that these are like ancient bacteria within the permafrost that we haven't seen in I don't know how millennia. So it's potentially releasing these bacteria, and that could impact us very negatively because these are bacteria we haven't seen.
But the other thing that's trapped in the permafrost is methane. And as the permafrost melts, it releases greenhouse gases, particularly methane, and that further compounds the problem. So now is the crucial time for us to act to reduce the production of greenhouse gases, and if not, the results will be literally cataclysmic.
Absolutely.
The United Nations Environmental Programme produced a report in 2019, the 10th Emissions Gap Report, which states that if emissions continue to increase at their present rate, the world's temperature will increase by as much as 4 degrees centigrade by the end of this century. So extreme weather events have increased greatly since the 1950s. By the way, I remember in my childhood, very heavy winds and storms might occur once or twice a year. But now they're occurring regularly every couple of months. So it has changed. Droughts, heat waves, excessive or reduced monsoons, hurricanes, typhoons, floods, and severe storms are much more common than they used to be. Wind speeds have trebled in the last decade. Sea levels are rising faster than ever before, and this is accelerating because of melting Arctic ice. And above a global temperature rise of 1.5 degrees centigrade, there is a danger of what's called irreversible tipping points being reached. And that becomes more likely once you go above 1.5 degrees centigrade. An example of this would be the catastrophic effect of melting permafrost, rapidly releasing large amounts of carbon dioxide or methane, and a vicious circle of greenhouse gas releases then set up, which can make Earth a hothouse. Then, even if increases in greenhouse gases were stopped, it would not stop the vicious circle from continuing and making large parts of the Earth uninhabitable.
I think now might be a good point. Now that we've scared people, we might mention a few things that you can do. Now we've talked about reducing meat consumption. That's obviously what we're advocating for with this podcast. Traveling
in a green way, but being conscious of, using public transport and any ways that you can, recycling, all of these things. Just be conscious of the planet and our role.
And I think a big thing as well is looking at who's in power in your country. I know that's like I will zoom out. But voting for people who are conscious, climate conscious, and who will make changes.
Yeah.
Is a big one as well. So
Talk for the Green Party then.
So with that, we're going to move on to a vegetarian recipe that you can use to combat climate change. So today, I believe we are going to be describing, what is it, Jess?
Vegetarian mushroom stroganoff.
Mushroom stroganoff. Let's go.
Okay. So it's a very tasty meal. And we're giving one that uses pasta, but the sauce that we're making can also be put on top of brown rice in this recipe, which is also delicious. And this dish, the mushroom stroganoff, serves 4 people. It's a hearty meal. So these are the ingredients. First of all, 400 grams of vegetarian mince, for example, Linda McCartney mince, which you can get in supermarkets. 1 cup of chopped onion. So we need to say what a cup is. This is a US cup measure. It's 240 milliliters of fluid.
Okay.
So I happen to have a cup that contains that amount. It's very convenient for these recipes, but you can just measure 240 mils of fluid is a cup, or up to that level in a measuring jar. 1 cup of chopped onions, 1 teaspoon of finely chopped garlic, 1 teaspoon of soy sauce. You can actually add more according to taste. 4 cups of sliced mushrooms, 1 can of vegetable soup. The one I use is Tesco low-fat lentil and vegetable soup, which is great. 2 cups of very low-fat or non-fat sour cream, 2 tablespoons of cornstarch, 1 tablespoon of brandy. That's optional. I wonder, should that be 1 teaspoon? Anyway, just be careful with that one.
Use at your discretion, yeah.
1/4 cup of minced parsley, salt and pepper to taste, easy on the salt, and 400 grams of whole grain pasta. Now, the one I'm going to suggest is the one that is shaped like a twirly shape.
Fusilli.
Is that what it is? Yes.
Fusilli, sorry.
Yeah, I've forgotten the name of it.
Fusilli. Yeah, I'm a big fan of fusilli.
Yeah, fusilli pasta, whole grain, 400 grams. So the method is, first of all, take a large non-stick frying pan, and in it place 2.5 milliliters of rapeseed or canola oil, using the small side of the spoon of the Calpol measuring spoon. Heat the oil, add the vegetarian mince and onions, and fry until the onions are starting to brown slightly. Then add a 1/4 cup of water and add the garlic and soy sauce and simmer over a medium heat for another 3 to 5 minutes. Then add the mushrooms and the can of soup. Stir gently until the mushrooms are cooked, which takes about 15 to 20 minutes, and then stir in the sour cream and bring the mixture to a simmer. Then take another small bowl and whisk together the cornstarch and 2 tablespoons of cold water, and when it's mixed, add this to the mixture and whisking it all well until it thickens, which takes about 3 minutes. Stir in the brandy and half the parsley and season to taste with salt and pepper. Go easy on the salt, as I said before. Now, at the same time, keep this warm, then bring a large pot of salted water to the boil over a high heat and add the pasta, whole grain pasta. Cook according to the package directions until it's, I like it al dente. I think
I like it a bit softer, yeah.
And then drain the pasta and divide it on 4 warm plates and pour the mushroom stroganoff over the pasta and put a little parsley on each serving to garnish it. And that's it. Mushroom stroganoff for 4 people.
Fantastic. Thank you, Charles. That sounds absolutely delicious. And definitely another one I'll have to try.
Thanks, Sinead. So that's all we have time for this week. If you find what we've been talking about interesting, as I said before, there's a lot more information in my book, Save Your Heart, Lose Weight and Help Save the Planet, which is available as a paperback and Kindle on Amazon. And until next time, it's bye from me.
So don't forget, guys, to look us up on social media. Your Heart, Our Planet. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. So that's everything from us today. Goodbye. Until next time.